What's up, everybody? Welcome out to the show. We're streaming live.
Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Hi, I'm Jana with Northwest Cider Association. I'm so excited that you're here. Welcome to Cider Summit Seattle Virtual Festival. We love getting together in person and celebrating the cider community, but it is not possible right now. So we have pivoted and gotten creative, and we have a fantastic lineup of awesome Washington cider makers here to hang out with you tonight. So whoop, this is our after party. You got hopefully your box picked up today in Seattle, or you got it shipped to you around the nation. And we're gonna drink some cider together, but we're gonna do something a little different. We've all got lots of tasting notes. If you haven't pulled them down on the Cider Summit site, and I'll put the link into the chat, there's full tasting notes so you can follow along there, but we're not gonna do all tasting notes tonight. Tonight is gonna be a little bit different. We're gonna have some fun and do some entertainment with the cider makers and the cider teams. So it's going to be a little bit out of the norm. It's going to be really fun and entertaining. I'll be helping to keep us on time, keep us running through. I'm going to do a few housekeeping pieces just to make sure that you have all the information that you need so we can get right into it. We've got an awesome lineup for you tonight. What we're going to use is the Q&A and the chat. So if you look down at your bottom of your Zoom, you'll see Q&A with the two bubbles, question and answer. That's where you can communicate if you have a question for our cider makers. If you want to know something about a specific cider, if you have something really clearly that you want to make sure that we address, we are happy to do that. If you're having a technical issue, something's not working, put it in Q&A. We'll keep tracking that. That chat we lit up here with just some fun comments. Let's share what we're drinking. Let's share what we're doing. Let's share some side notes. If you ran from fires like I did earlier today, like maybe you want to share your like woes of life, your celebration that we get to have a cider together. Let's let that be our fun social part. We'll stay tuned to that too, and we can put links in there. But if you need direct help, Q&A is the place. If you want to make sure that we answer any questions, that's going to be our spot. We've got 90 minutes. We've got a combination of quick hits from each of these cider makers and some awesome music from Sylvester, Norman the Boogie Cat Sylvester, who just let us in. He is 30 plus years of playing with his amazing band, the Norman Sylvester Band, and inducted to the Oregon Music Hall of Fame. So he would often treat us to live music if we got to be together in person. So we're just going to enjoy some beautiful musical pieces from him as well. Make sure we link in so you can look him up later, show him some love. He's an awesome musician, amazing human being, and has been gracious enough to offer us the ability to use his music tonight. We have another little intro from him, and we've got some more music, and then I'm going to step aside so that we can hear from both Alan Shapiro, the founding organizer, fearless leader of the Cider Summit, and from Emily Ritchie, our executive director of Northwest Cider Association. It's Washington Cider Week, people, September 10th to September 20th. Raise a glass, Washington Cider. Let's do this. Cheers. We're so glad you're here.
It's from running at, grocery stores and stuff. You gotta face it.
Hello, everybody. This is Norman Sylvester Boogie Cats, and welcome to the 2020 Cider Summit Seattle Virtual Show. We're happy to have you here. Welcome to the Ciderworks. Enjoy.
All right, let's turn it over to our founding father of Cider Summit, Alan. He's already been out working in the wonderful air conditions in Seattle, making sure that folks get to pick up their boxes successfully. How you doing, Alan?
We survived the pickup event, so it was great. It was busy, and we appreciate so much that it was a potentially tough day out there, and but we wanted people to get their cider. They paid for it. We knew people were looking forward to this event, and so our crew had one of these Zoom conferences last night and decided we're going to be there. We got to get cider to the people. And if there's anyone joining us that couldn't get to the pickup or chose not to for health reasons, we'll be in touch with you over the next couple of days and figure out an alternative pickup or delivery option for you. I'll dive in and first say thank you so much to all of our participating cider makers. Many of them go back to the beginning or nearly to the beginning with our festivals. Our very first one was in 2010 in South Lake Union, where I'm sitting at the moment. And we as a team had no idea what the hell we were doing, but somehow managed to slap it together and find about 40 ciders to pour, and 300 or 400 people showed up. So it gave us some fake courage to keep moving forward with this. And So we wish we were doing what would have been our 10th anniversary, 11th Seattle event right now, but it's great to be with all of you. So I want to thank Northwest Cider, who's been a great partner to work with all these years, and a special shout out to Jana, who has had more than her share of travails this week, navigating the fire situation and near her home, and hasn't missed a beat with us. She mentioned Norman Sylvester, who's been a long festival favorite musician, and I don't know if Norman has jumped on yet, but he has been generally opening Saturdays at our Portland Festival, and it's though the time is very brief, it's always one of my favorite moments of the festival to have those couple minutes with Norman as we're getting the festival open and he's preparing to go on. He makes your day better, is maybe a nice, you know, and I always feel better for having those few minutes with him. Another special shout out, I know he's on right now, is Chris from Preston Press, who I think I can delicately put it, he worked his ass off the last few days to get cider out to people. He handled our shipments around the country for us and all the local deliveries, and we got an even bigger response to this program than we expected, so he had to work that much harder. And so thank you, buddy. It's been great working with you. And to our sponsors, again, in Cidermakers. And so traditionally we start with the Cidermakers with a toast just before we open the festival, and we'll do that today. And we've been toasting this year with the Virtue Salute cider, which everybody would have got in their kits. And each of the last 4 years, we've partnered with different cider maker to create a collaboration cider just for our, you know, to feature our 4 festival cities, Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, and Chicago. And our first 3 years, we were with Northwest Cider Makers, and we decided we wanted to bring in one Midwest cider maker as well. They were getting angry with me for not being able to participate in this. So Virtue created a special blend of fresh pressed cider along with cider that's been in French oak for about a year to create this for us. And so anyways, I'll stop talking and just say thanks to all of you cider makers, and for those of you that participated in the kits, for joining us. And here's to a great hour and a half. Cheers. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers. Hi, everyone. So it's my turn to say hello. I'm the director of the Northwest Cider Association, and I am so grateful to see you all here. I'm grateful for the cider makers who are tuning in Saturday evening, but really for all of our participants. I'm sure it's been a hard year for everyone, but really craft beverage makers have been hit so hard by COVID, and we're so grateful for your support, for continuing to come out and making sure we have a vibrant craft cider scene. It's such a nascent group. Many of these companies have been open only about 5 years or less, and that makes it really hard when it's such a young industry to keep the doors open and the businesses alive. So I really appreciate that. I love that Alan pivoted and was able to make this festival something that could be enjoyed locally and then also from afar. I'm so glad that many of you ordered cider from all over, and we actually are tuning into that and seeing that there's this huge demand for Northwest ciders, this really high quality, innovative bunch, wild west cider makers out here. So the association, in addition to continuing our programming like Washington Cider Week right now, like Jana has said, we're actually launching a cider club. And I can't tell you very much about it yet. It's pretty much top secret, but we have a sign up list. If you want to learn more about it and sign up, we're going to be shipping cider to people's doors probably starting around December. And you can try lots of brands of cider like this on a regular basis. It's going to be called the Northwest Cider Club, and you can look at our brand new website. I think we started it last week before the fires started, nwciderclub.com.
And we'll have lots of different brands all the time. You can see our beautiful map of our cider maker members out there. We're excited for it. We're excited to see you guys. We're so grateful for the support. And I'm excited to see all these talents now. Cider makers here make really delicious cider in the Northwest, but they also have some really fun talents up their sleeves. So I'm excited, and I think we're gonna go to Norman real quick before we start the talent portion.
Well, I believe in you. We're gonna make it through. I believe in you, Poland August. We're gonna make it through. Yeah, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. Well, I believe in you. Oh Lord, we're gonna make it through. Well, I believe in you, Poland August now. We gonna make it through. Well, I believe in you. We're gonna make it through. I believe in you, Poland, and now we're gonna make it through. It's gonna be all right. Yes, it is. It's gonna be all right. Yeah, it's gonna be all right. Well, I believe in you. We gonna make it through. When I tell you, I believe in you. We gonna make it through. I believe in you. Well, now we gonna make it through. It's gonna be all right. We gonna make it through. That's you and me. Well, I believe in you. We gonna make it through.
Yes, Norman. Thank you. Heck yeah. So clearly, yes, we can drink it. Absolutely. Good call, Janelle. You guys, cheers. We're so glad that you're here. It's been said before, but it's been one unique dynamic year thus far. So how wonderful for us to get to share a little levity. Let us get together and do something fun. So it's so clear that Norman is so passionate about music, and we have some really passionate cider makers. These are all Washington cider makers. And we're so happy, the Northwest Cider Association, to represent a number of Washington cider makers, as well as multiple states, also Oregon, Montana, Idaho, British Columbia, and it's Washington Cider Week. I said it before, but I want you to be sure to know that if you want to do more fun things with cider makers during this week, check out our website, hop over to the WashingtonCiderWeek.org, and you can see all of that. I'll link that in so you can check it out. We've got lots of great pairing events. We've got really thoughtful conversations that are happening. We have live streams, so you can do things in person, you can do things virtually, you can do semi-virtual. We've gotten really creative since March. So again, pivoting, thank you so much, Emily, for putting that in the chat. Pivoting and being super creative is something that cider makers have been really good at. Without further ado, though, I won't take up any more time. We're going to dive right in. We are joined by Philippe from Alpenfire. Philippe, you have got something really special here that you have been including in this box, and I would love for you to let us know about who you are and where you're from and what cider you've got going on and anything else that you're going to share with us. Thanks so much for being here. It's nice to see you.
Likewise. Thank you, Jana. Thank you, Emily, Alan, and Chris out there in the panel. Preston, Chris. I didn't have any talents, so I thought we'd go first and let everybody else with talents go after me to entertain everybody. I'm Philippe, one of the co-owners of Alpenfire Cider. It's my parents and I. We started planting our orchard back in 2003, all traditional English and French bittersweets and bitter sharps. First year of production was 2008-ish, 9, 6, somewhere in there. I've lost track. Doesn't matter. We do about 6,000 gallons a year, and part of it is our traditional cuvee. What you have in about half of the boxes that went out this year. It's interesting drinking this cider with everybody through the interwebs. It's a lot drier than last time I drank it, than I remember it, I guess. It's a blend of Cortlands from heirloom orchards in Hood River, Gravensteins and Kings from Lazy J in Port Angeles, which is about 20-30 miles as the crow flies from us. And then our estate, Brown Stout, Vilbury, Yarlington Mill, Foxwhelp, and Dabinet, I believe. All from the 2018 harvest, and just a long, slow fermentation, about 6 weeks, 8 months of maturation in stainless, and then forced carbonated. So, yeah, hope you all enjoy it. Lots of great ciders to drink tonight. So,
Philippe, you're so amazing. I wanted to know what your favorite glass is to drink it in. Do you have it? Are you drinking it now?
I am.
What are you drinking it in?
The only thing I had clean was just one of our stemless wine glasses.
This is so good. Okay. I like it. No, that seems like a good choice. So this was the traditional cuvee. And I'm just kind of repeating that to let folks know. And I had the privilege to work with you many, many years back, and I love the
Good old
story.
mountain people.
Yes, so far back. And I love the story of, you know, how your parents and the journey kind of got started. It's really cool. If people haven't been up to see you guys, I know it's a weird time right now, but typically you'd have a wonderful tasting room that people could come visit up in the Olympic Peninsula. Alpenfire Cidery. So maybe it behooves us just to toss a link in there if you're willing, or we can after the fact, so people can come and find you. Are you guys open at all right now, or not open, or what's it like at your place?
We're open from 12 to 5 on Saturdays, pretty much for bottle sales. Nothing tasting wise. But we do ship cider across the nation for the most part. And we're just hoping that we get some bottles soon. We ferment and press once a year, and we're tied up with all of our 2019 juice because we can't get bottles right now. So hopefully we'll have a bunch of new stuff here in the next couple months, but we'll see how it goes.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being so resilient and for hopping in with us and sharing. Folks can come and check out your site, and they can order from you online, and look forward to enjoying your beautiful orchard and tasting room when, you know, this kind of goes back to a different version of what we've already been through.
Thank you for organizing all this and keeping us all in the loop.
My pleasure. You're so great. Okay, awesome. Well, all right, let me pin myself again so you can see my cute face. All right, next up, we've got Yonder. Hula, what's up? Caitlin Brom is in the house, and she's got a new cidery because, you know, when it's pandemic, what do? Like kick back, like sit on the couch, like watch a bunch of Netflix and chill, or you just like work around the clock and you start a new cidery and another and the source. Caitlin, what's up? Happy anniversary. Thank you for tuning in on your special day. You're so generous. We're all in such weird times, and so appreciative that you were willing to tune in with us and let us know what's going on with Yonder. We've got Yonder Dry in the box today from the Modern Cider kit.
What I've got. Well, thanks for having me, and it's so good to see you. And yes, it has been a absolutely crazy year. We launched about 3 weeks ago, so it's been absolutely insane. And everyone that has the boxes, you're actually some of the first to try our ciders because it's pretty brand new. Unless you've been to our little garage bar, which I'll tell you about in a minute. I was going to give you a tour of it today. That was going to be my talent, was shifting during COVID and turning my garage into a to-go only bar, but it is closed due to the weather outside and the smoke, and for concern of our employees and our customers. So I got some photos and a short little video to show you about that. But in the meantime, I wanted to tell you a little bit about Yonder, what we do, as well as the cider you're drinking and the 2 others we have right now. So Yonder, our production facility, and everything we do is out in Wenatchee, Washington. It is an area of Washington State that I have absolutely loved for a long time. And grew really close with Tim from Snowdrift. He's actually our cider maker at Yonder now as well, which we are very, very happy about and excited about. So we produce everything over there. We use all Wenatchee and Wenatchee Valley apples. But our whole thing is that we use both culinary fruits. So the fruit you find in the grocery store, we use a blend of Fuji, Honeycrisp, Pink Lady, and Granny Smith. And then we also use some cider fruit. So it's about 80% culinary and then about 20% cider fruit. And what that does is it adds a little bit more body, a little bit more aroma, and a little bit more flavor to what your typical culinary cider might be. For the dry, which you guys have in your kit, it's that base of culinary apples like I told you. And then the apples that we add in, the cider apples that we add in, are Roxbury Russet, Ashmead's Kernel, Porter's Perfection, and a little bit of Wixon Crab. So you're going to get a nice, still really dry cider. There's no back sweetening in it whatsoever. And then it's going to have a nice tartness to it, but a lovely citrus note, which I absolutely love. If you've been to the garage bar, which I'll show you here in a minute, you've probably also seen these. This is our semi-sweet cider, which has just a touch of sweetness to it. I tell people it's not sweet at all, but that one's got golden russet and Ashmead's Kernel as well. And then this, our most popular, the purple can, is Palisades, our blackberry sage, which is actually an ode to Oliver's Twist, a cocktail bar in Seattle, one of my favorites. They have a cocktail called the Old Sally that is blackberry sage and bourbon. And I'm not saying you can't add a shot of bourbon to the Palisades, but you know, you could to try and get it to that same kind of cocktail level. So, but we have our Wenatchee production facility, and as Jana mentioned, also have what's called The Source, which is a premium juice and custom fermentation cidery. We work with cideries, breweries, and wineries all across the country to bring great Washington apples to other folks. But I live in Seattle mostly full-time. I'm in Wenatchee quite a bit these days. But we had plans for a full tasting room. And then March hit and COVID became a thing. And we decided to still move forward with Yonder, but it kind of squashed our plans for a tasting room. However, I live on a street that they shut down for a pedestrian-only street. And my garage is on that street. And one day my father-in-law was like, "Meh, you should just sell it out of your garage." Then we took it to like a weirdly insane level, and we are doing that. So it's called Yonder Bar, and I'll show a couple photos here real quick. Emily, would you mind sharing my screen, or can I just push share screen?
You should be
Okay,
ready.
cool.
Yeah.
Forgive me for any technical difficulties I come across here, but
It's really cute, you guys. You're gonna love it. You're gonna freak out.
all right. So can you guys see that?
Yes.
Wonderful. So this is Yonder Bar. This is the garage that's not attached to my house, but is at my house. And so it's a ton of fun, and we're open Wednesday through Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 3 to 8, Saturday and Sunday, 12 to 8. This is David.
Caitlin, can you scroll it down a little? I'm seeing, like, I can see the bar, but no cute faces. Yeah, make school full screen, maybe. Someone.
Okay. How's that?
There you go.
Wonderful.
Yes, that looks so great.
This is David. He's our tap room manager. It's funny to have a tap room manager for a small little spot, but it's absolutely fantastic. So we open the garage up, and you walk it up and grab cans or draft to go. We also have some great merch that we have. Let me see if this is gonna work.
Street parking only, huh? No.
Yeah, so you actually can't drive up to it because of that street being closed. So we encourage people to walk, bike, you know, skip, whatever they can do, just not drive on the street. We've got some merch there as well. And we have, let me see what other photos I have. The draft. And then I've got a great little video here. Let me pull this up real quick. Very short, but it'll show you a little bit about what we've got going on.
Yeah, it's super innovative. People are saying creative. Yes. So
You
you
see
have
that?
your cheese plate. There's a cheese plate set up on your red Yonder scarf. Hey!
So nice and small. We got our neighbors that just walk on by, step on up, and the best part is you grab it and you kind of go on your day. We've had a ton of fun. There we go. Can you see my face again?
I see your cute face again.
Okay. So we've had a ton of fun with it, and it's been mainly where everybody can get Yonder. We're starting to hit it into stores and stuff now, but we hope everyone will stop by. We hope we open back up on Wednesday, but appreciate everyone's support as we get going during the time of COVID, and it's been challenging, but a ton of fun, and really glad to be here.
Thank you so much for taking time out with us on your special day, and good work.
Thanks,
We're
guys.
excited. We're glad you're here. Thanks.
Cider.
Thanks, Caitlin. Awesome. And Caitlin, people can order online, yes or no?
They can, yep. We're shipping through Vino Shipper. So 40 states, just head to yondercider.com. I'll go ahead and add that in there. I'll also add a link for Yonder Bar so you can find us. When it's closed, there's just a little QR code on there, so it's hard to find, but that way you can find where the hours and when you can come visit us.
So fantastic. I love it. Okay, awesome. People are just keep popping those things into the chat. We've got a few Q&As, and thanks to you guys, cider makers, for paying attention to those and answering them. We'll definitely get to the one with Herbs. I'll let him speak to that. I'm gonna keep going. That's my job. I'm like a tiny bit behind, not too bad. I'm doing good. It's like, you know, a party. We got to kind of keep it going, but we got to have fun. So I'm so glad that everyone is here. We really, really appreciate that. We appreciate you tuning in. Next up, without further ado, I have Sam from Bad Granny. He is there. He has been working Crush because there is wine happening in their neck of the woods. There are wine grapes, and so it is not a quiet time any time of year, let alone 2020. And this is harvest season. This is long days, long nights, and Sam was generous enough to pop on with us. Hey, Sam, so good to see you. Let's see, let's get you unmuted. Hang on here. Can you unmute yourself, or I can? maybe.
There we
Someone,
go.
yeah.
Good.
There you go. Here
Hey.
you are. Hey, nice to see you.
Thanks for the intro. I just want to thank everybody for supporting the cider community as a whole, the Northwest Cider Association, and just all the consumers, community. It's a beautiful thing. And I really have been missing all you guys through all the events and trade shows and cider summits. So I'm really bummed out, but we're here doing this, so we're good. I just want to talk about our ginger lime. This is the cider you guys received in the pack for the Northwest Cider Association.
And tilt your computer up a little bit because we can only see your nose.
There we go. Now we get your cute face.
And it's one of our newest ciders. You could find it in a 6-pack, just like this. It's all 6 cans of ginger lime, but it's also in our multi-pack, which has 2 cans of Honeycrisp, 2 cans of blackcurrant, and 2 cans of our ginger lime. So that's 2 ways you could get it. I guess my special talent, I would say, is nothing too special, but my background's in winemaking. And so I've been kind of just applying everything I've learned in winemaking into cider making. And that's been really fun and interesting. And I love it. I love spending more time in the cider industry. I think you guys are a lot more fun than the wine industry, but don't tell the wine industry that. One of the things I'm really proud of that we do is we do method champenois. With Karma Vineyards, we're probably only one of maybe 3 or 4 wineries in the state that actually go through the whole process and have the equipment to do method champenois. And we've applied that to cider too. So I get to make, because the equipment's here, and applying my knowledge of winemaking into a method champenois cider. We also do kind of cool stuff like red flesh or in the flesh stuff, but I just want to take a couple seconds and maybe show you guys the equipment that we run or method champenois through. It's very unique. Not many people see this stuff, so it's kind of crowded. So I'm just going to lift up my laptop and kind of walk over there.
We're super into this, Sam. I'm excited. And you're going to send me one of those bottles when we're done, right?
Very, very much so.
Okay. Let's try.
So this is kind of awkward with my laptop, but when you first load the bottles, we load them into this cage right here. I don't know if you can see this cage. This is called a Riddling Cage.
Yep.
And we take all the bottles that you can see they're really murky, and so these are bottle conditioned. They got yeast on them. I don't know if you can see the yeast floating around in there. And those have to be riddled, so all the yeast has to get to the top of the neck. So we put this machine on a rack, and it gently kind of goes like this, and it inverts the bottle. And by the time it's done, it's getting racked or riddled, they say, I guess. All the yeast ends up at the bottom. And then from there, we take it over to our, there's like a bunch of wine tanks on the way, but this is our neck freezer right here. So you actually take a bottle and stick it in this hole right here. And by the time, it takes about 2 minutes, by the time it's done, the neck is completely frozen. So there's an ice plug at the bottom of the neck covering all that yeast plug. And then we take it out and we set it onto this right here, this conveyor. And it goes through. I don't know if you can see it. And this is where it pops the cap off the bottle. And then the yeast plug goes flying out through pressure. And then we put a simple syrup in. It's called a dosage. And that sweetens up the base cider or base wine. And then from there, it goes through. And then the cork gets put on right there. This is a champagne corker. And then it gets shaken, which a lot of people don't realize is the simple syrup just falls to the bottom of the bottle. And the shaker manually takes the bottle and turns it upside down 4 times. And then it spits it out into the line. And that way the simple syrup is integrated into the whole bottle. If not, it would just kind of fall to the bottom of the bottle and stick there. So that's kind of the Reader's Digest version of how we disgorge cider and wine.
It's so good. Thank you for sharing this. People are enjoying it. It is definitely one of those mysterious processes. Somebody asked in the Q&A about how to spell it, so I typed it in there. The method champenois, this fantastic carbonation methodology. This is super geeky. We love you tuning in and sharing this with us. Tell us about what it's like right now. Can we visit you? Are you online? How does it look?
So our tasting room is currently open, and that's Karma Vineyards. It doesn't really say Bad Granny, but Karma Vineyards is our parent company or our sister company, and they serve all of our ciders there. They have everything on tap. Everything that we make is ready to be buy and get going. And then like a lot of people, we're also on Vino Shipper, and you just to go to badgranny.com and you could order all of our ciders. And this one is included. I think that's pretty much the only place you can get our Method Champenois cider is through Vino Shipper right now.
Yeah.
Through our website.
So good. Let's you can put it in the chat, Sam, after, or I can. That's so fantastic. Thank you for taking us through that little bit of cider geekdom. People may not always realize. I know I've had so many conversations over the years about how is cider made, and there's so many different techniques that people may not always realize. You know, for sure it's fermenting apples, but there's a lot of nuance. There's a lot of different opportunities, whether it has to do with the yeast or the production type. So thanks for kind of taking us behind the scenes on that. That was really awesome.
Sure.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, let's keep going. We've got Chris with Incline. I see you, Chris. You're there. You're live. I'm gonna light up your screen so they can see your handsome face. Let's do that. And I see that you've got a whole spread here. It looks really good. You've got like the vintage sign. You look like Chris. What's going on? How's it going?
Thanks, Jana. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
I've got a whole way to enjoy blood orange throughout the whole day. But first, so I'll just share with you just a couple thoughts about Incline Cider. You were talking about cider houses, how things are going. We opened ours up September 22nd of last year. So we were just really hitting full stride, having a great time, had live music on Tuesdays, and things were going well. And then we got to COVID. But we've actually been doing quite well. The city got us, allowed us to do 3 parking spots out front. So we got a nice outdoor patio area now, and that has been super helpful. So we're hanging tough. We're open Tuesday through Sunday. You can get all that information on our cider house. So we're Incline Cider, 5 years in the business. It's mine and my son Jordan's cider company. Leslie, his wife, is the manager at the cider house. So, 5 years, we're still having a ball and having fun together. So with that, you have our blood orange cider. One of my, I tell you, breakfast champions right here. It's 100% fresh pressed. All of our apples come from Yakima, but it's 100% fresh pressed apples. And then we just add blood orange juice to it. And I think one of the tricks in our business is how can you expand, with all the alternative seltzers and beers and all these other alternative beverages and stuff. How can cider keep expanding and growing itself? And so when I'm out, one of the things I do, and I think many other Northwest ciders could do as well too, is start pitching ciders for mimosas. And I think it's a much better myself. And again, I'm going to get maybe some champagne makers upset or whatever, but I think it's more enjoyable myself. So there's a couple different ways you could do it. So this is just strictly for me. I serve it, we have a nice brunch over and just pour the blood orange. Our Marionberry actually works great too, but it's got a great nose to it. Great refreshing taste, goes really well with breakfast. And again, that blood orange nose to it, it just screams mimosa to me. I also have some pre-mixed, a little bit for my cocktail of some fresh orange juice and lime and a muddled jalapeno. And you can also just top that in there. Some people, we do this at our cider house mimosas, particularly on Sundays for the games and stuff like that. And it's a lot of fun, so.
That looks so beautiful.
So that's how you start your breakfast. Now this is I've never did this on camera before with a mixed cocktail, but this is a spicy blood orange margarita. So real easy to do. I have my ice in there, and then I've got my juicer here. So I juice the orange, blood orange, the limes. And so I just start with some blood orange juice here, the blood orange cider, and then quick little squeeze in here without squirting myself too bad here. got our fresh orange. We'll squeeze a lime in each one of these things. All right. Now, this is quite good just on its own, but since it is Saturday night, right? There's my shot glass. Nothing better if you have your favorite tequila. And
Yes.
tequila. And again, this is something many other cideries could do too. You know, it's another way to pitch something when you're out there on premise to get people to do a little something different that includes cider. So with that, get that going. That. I like throwing for myself these in there and giving a little mix too. And basically we have our spicy blood orange margarita.
Chris, I'm headed to your house. I'll be sitting outside in the smoke with my mask on, okay?
I have plenty of tequila, so no worries. No
Done.
worries. So cheers, everyone. So that is our spicy blood orange margarita. And then how can you top that? Well, you need dessert, right? So dessert is simply a blood orange float. So I got my vanilla ice cream here.
Jazz fingering you, right? Like it's like, yay, jazz fingers up. You just like third cocktail. This is amazing.
Whoops.
You might have to type these out. People might be like, what the heck? We didn't know.
There you go. We can do that. And actually that that is on our website.
Well, fantastic. Then you can pop it in the chat and then they can find you.
And I'm telling you, we all remember root beer floats as kids, but I'm telling you, blood orange with vanilla ice cream is fantastic. So with that.
For the win.
Did I get any on my mustache? Hopefully not. All right, all good. So that is a perfect blood orange day. And the last thing I'll say, to really do it right, you need your blood orange shirt on as well. So with that, have fun. Really appreciate us being part of Northwest Cider. And if you, the Cider Summit here, and if you get down, and we're just up from the Harmon building in the new Peru blocks there. So if you.
In Tacoma.
At Cider House.
Yeah. Fantastic, Chris. Thank you. These are amazing cocktails. People all want these. They're all coming to your house. Sorry, watch out. They're all going to show up. Cheers to you. Please hop into the chat when you have time and put your link to the recipes so if people can enjoy them. They look super fantastic. Thank you so much. That's amazing.
Alan, thanks for everything. Cheers.
Cheers. We did have someone wanted to know the backstory on the name. If you let me know which one you wanted, if you wanted Incline to talk on it, or if it was Bad Granny. I'm sorry, I wasn't sure about that. We'll make sure we answer that. So we'll circle back, and I will just go ahead and answer this. The yeast for champagne for grapes can be fermented to a higher alcohol than some other yeast, and for method champenois ciders, the yeast is different. Yes, it is different. It is a champagne yeast. So that's a great question. We do, when you see champagne style ciders that are made with that same traditional methodology, they typically will use a champagne yeast. Yeast for cider can be really across the board. A lot of white wine yeast, sometimes ale yeast, for sure champagne yeast. So the yeast makes a huge difference. I'm going to be quiet and let us listen to Norman. We have a little break. This is your chance to listen, to get more cider, to go to the bathroom. We'll come back to that backstory on Bad Granny for sure. Thank you. That's awesome. I'll grab Sam if he hasn't already left. So we're going to hop in and listen to some music here with Norman. You guys, thanks so much. Stay tuned.
To stay, and I'll turn my back around. Give me one reason to stay, I'll turn right back around. Said I don't want to leave you lonely. You gotta make me change my mind. Baby, I got your number, and I know that you got mine. You know that I called you. I called too many times. You can't call me, baby. You can't call me anytime, but you gotta call me. I don't want no one to squeeze me. They might take away my life. I don't want no one to squeeze me. They might take away my life. Said I just want someone to hold me. Oh, and rock me through the night. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Daddy. Well, this youthful heart will love you, oh, and give you what you need. I said this youthful heart will love you, oh, and give you what you need. Said I'm too old to go chasing around, wasting my precious energy. Baby, just give me one reason. Oh, give me just one reason why. Baby, just give me one reason. Oh, give me just one reason why I should stay. Said I told you that I love you, and now it ain't no more to say. Oh, yeah,
Wow, just wow. So amazing, huh? That's the passion and talent is so evident. A few of our first tier folks have to hop off for various reasons. We all know life is super chaotic, so anybody who's tuning off from our first round, we thank you so much for showing up. We're going to keep trudging right along. We've got so many great things to cover. Just a few people had asked, we've got almost 150 folks on the call. So I know when you're tuning into a Zoom call in this webinar format, it feels like, you don't necessarily know, but it's a pretty active, amazing crew. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. It's really fantastic. We'll keep sharing the links as we go and answering the questions. I think Sam had to hop off, but I've got a message out to get a little bit more on the bad granny story. I have a few inclinations from what I've heard, but we'll get a little deeper on that. I want to turn this over. We've got a cool video actually, because it's a long day and you might need a little caffeine kick even as we're drinking cider. So we've got a cool video from Rick. But Rick, before we cue up your video, which I am super excited to share, I just want to give you a chance as a human to say hi, as a fantastic cider maker to say hi. So, hey, Rick, how are you?
Hello. I'm fantastic. Thank you very, very much for putting this together. This is really cool. And Alan, hats off as always. I was there at the very first Cider Summit, not as a cidery, but as a budding cider head. It really helped tee off my interest in this industry, and so thank you for that. This is I don't know how old this is. It's not like it's not like the first one, but this is a vintage cider. Yeah. Okay. So we appreciate it. We really do. Yeah, Liberty Ciderworks. We've been around since 2013. We're located in downtown Spokane. That's where our production and tasting room is. We get most of our apples from a really beautiful part of the country called the Palouse, just south of here. It's known for wheat, but as it turns out, it's really growing amazing apples for us. And that's what we try to do here at Liberty, is express just the apples. We try to let them kind of be front and center on center stage. We do all native yeast ferments as well. And that's kind of who we are. And I guess, apples and yeast, it led to something I really didn't intend to make. What we have in our kits tonight is something called Garrazza. It's a Northwest version or inspired by Spanish Sidra. I don't pretend it's an authentic thing, but it is very reminiscent of a Sidra, made much the same way with similar apples. It's a native yeast fermented for a good long time. Usually what's happening, in fact, always what happens, it goes into a secondary fermentation with these really ultra tart crab apples that we started using. That secondary fermentations softens the acidity in the cider. Instead of just being like it's going to strip your teeth, it's merely tart. And then we get this funkiness that comes out as well. And since we started making it, it's been one of our most popular ciders. So that's Garrazza. I don't know. I think
that's good. We got a video that we got to play for you, right?
Yeah. So I definitely needed another hobby. I started this thing making espresso this spring with this little machine I'll tell you all about in the video.
Once a beverage person, always a beverage person. When I watched your video, I thought, this guy's geeky on beverage, which, kind of like runs in our trade. So let's do it. Emily's going to be gracious enough to play your video. I'll see if I can spotlight her. I will. Okay. Let's learn about some espresso. I'm going to need a cup of espresso after this. It's so good.
Is this full screen for you guys?
I see you and I see the video half and half, but you're really cute too, so it's fine.
Maybe I'll turn my video off and that'll help.
Sure.
So I'm going to start with just kind of an overview of the machine. Here it is. This is a La Pavoni, made in Italy, a full manual espresso machine. This has been made pretty much unchanged since the early 60s. Very old school, very almost dangerous. There are parts here that get extremely hot. I don't know that you can make these anymore, but this is where the term and the idea of pulling espresso shots came from. It's a machine like this, where instead of a pump, where you'd have, like you have in a modern espresso machine, you allow steam pressure to force its way into and around the brew head above the puck where your coffee is stored. And then you have this lever here, and you push really hard, maybe 40 pounds of pressure down. And we'll make a shot in a minute, but this is how you actually pull a shot. You push the hot water through the puck at high pressure into your receiver hub. So the next thing is basically to get the coffee in the portafilter. We've got a funnel here, it's ready to go. And another critical variable is how much coffee is in that portafilter. So I've got this scale here, tear it out to 0. It's good to like 1/10 of a gram, so it's super accurate. I just come over here and I've discovered through trial and error that 15 grams of coffee is just about perfect for this guy. So I'm going to use this flat burr grinder and make a powdery espresso grind coffee. It'll take me just a sec. I'll be right back. All right, so I've finished grinding. I've got this nice powdery coffee here. You can see it's 15 grams. That's perfect. All right, so I'll set this aside and start this process of getting the coffee prepared for pulling a shot. What I do is I kind of do a distribution method where you break up the clumps with this little stick. You stir it around, you get it to where it feels like it's fairly well evenly packed. I do one quick, 2 little drops on the puck, get it to at least move out of the funnel. I like to move it with this stirrer right up to the edges again. And then I use this thing that is further distributes the coffee. As you turn this thing, it causes the coffee to move around inside the portafilter and get, again, more evenly distributed. It's pretty simple. You just drop it right on top, do a quick turn or two, and it does its magic. It begins the process of compacting the coffee and gets it distributed all at once. So the old way was to use these tampers, which introduce a lot of variables. You can pack it down way too much or way too little, or it can be off, or any number of things can kind of throw you off. This is much better. This is an adjustable tamper where basically you undo this, get it to the level or to the extension that you need, based again on that accurate measurement. And then all you have to do is just drop it on top. You push it down to where it hits the edge. It's as deep as it's going to go. That's packed perfectly. I've learned from experience that that's exactly what you need for that grind, for this particular coffee. And off we go. All right, we're ready to pull a shot of espresso with a La Pavone espresso machine. We have waited for this to warm up. It's really hot. There's pressure. It's about 1 bar of pressure in the boiler right now, which is ideal. The temperature is getting close to where it needs to be for the group head. I need to do what they call a dry pump here and basically get it to where these little temperature gauges start to show up. And see, it turns green. It's about 90, 95 degrees centigrade. That's ideal. That's what I want. So I am now ready to go. The machine is up to temperature. The group head is up to temperature. It's time to go ahead and pull a shot. We do one thing called relieving false pressure. Let that go. And then the process is basically to pull this up nearly to the top of its arc, then tighten down the portafilter, then pull it up all the way. So that begins to pre-infuse the puck with the water directly from the boiler. You let it sit there for about 10 seconds, and they begin to push down on the lever. And then we're doing our shot pull. Now you'll see through this bottomless portafilter what it looks like. You can see the coffee's coming out. It's beginning to coagulate with a little bit of crema and pull together in a nice even stream of coffee coming out into the cup. And that is the look we want. That's the process we want. That's good crema. And those are good fresh beans. That's really essential to getting this to work the way it needs to work. And there we go.
We all need a coffee now. I'm absolutely serious. That looks out of control. Amazing, Rick. Wow.
Come visit. I'll set you up.
I'm also, as I evacuate, I'll just continue to the various cider makers' houses. So I'll be there. You can just, ply me with alcohol and caffeine. I like it. Does it need a 480 volt? That's a question for you.
What was the question?
Does your espresso machine require a 480 volt?
It looks like it might really, but it runs on a standard 120.
All right. Well, spoiler alert. There it is. So good. All right. We love it. You're amazing. Let's keep going. I'm running a little behind schedule, so let's just kind of keep right along. Thank you so much, Rick. Pop your website into the chat so people can find you, order from you, see what you got going on. Come visit these cideries after you check their websites. Make sure that they're active, see what is going on that is safe and healthy for you and for them. Andrew, hello. Hey, it's the whole crew. It's you guys. We're in Finnriver land. Spoiler alert, I'm sorry, it's not in the box. I'm drinking a little habanero. This is my alma mater. I love Andrew. I've worked with them for 6 years and I love them. And now we have the opportunity to talk with you. Hi.
Hi, thanks for having us. Podcasting live from the Byers family attic of sorts, with lots of support from the family for this one. And I have a 4-minute and 25-second video that I have made.
You made a video too. Great.
Yeah. The reason I made a video is because I wanted to talk about sourcing, and I've been very much attentive to the notion of sourcing. So here I am in Chimacum, Washington, on traditional Chimacum people's land, now Sklallam people's land, and I'm here and I want to talk about where things come from and how they get into cider, why they get into cider. And so I made a rather poor dose of videography, given that I don't have audiovisual skill sets. Specifically in the first 2 segments, I cut off the people's heads. And that has to do with learning about iPhones. And so I just want to premise this, that like, yep, I kind of suck at making videos, but I made this one for every one of you all to see about how we make what we make and where some of those things come from. And so if I could get screen share permissions, I'm going to drop my screen and bring up some notions here.
You are
and then
the
I'll get
host
out of your
right
way
now.
and let other people step in.
Andrew, you're the host, so you should be able to share your screen.
All you were tasked to do is make great cider and then also videography. Come on. I mean, and I will just plug that Andrew already had a very fantastic conversation. Josh, you go. Go ahead. You ready?
Whoa. Sorry, that was too fast. I didn't know that was happening. Are we all good? Y'all seeing this blurry set of boxes for me?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay. We're coming at it. I tried to edit down. You know what? I'm just going to let it stand for itself. I really like you all. I'm proud to be part of this, and here we go.
Okay, so we can't see your screen yet.
But I said I was screen sharing. Hang tight. I'll get better.
You're good. You're good. There's quite a few fun events going on from Finnriver on our Washington Cider website, so be sure to take a look, and one of them is probably in line with it.
Yes, perfect, Andrew.
Okay, so you can see Karen Brindle without any eyeballs. Here we go. I got audio.
Hey, Andrew, why don't we jump down to Herb's and you can email me the video and then I'll share it with my internet. Is that better?
On it. Skip.
Yeah, awesome. Let's pop around. We'll come back to you. Okay, standing tight. Okay, let's get into it here. Where have we got here? We've got Kim. Hi. We've got Tim. Hi.
Hey guys.
Spotlight you guys. Thank you so much, Herb's Cider. What's up?
Hi, guys. It's nice to follow up Andrew. Andrew was actually our first cider maker before Chris Weir.
Yep.
We love seeing his face.
Yeah, Finnriver I mean, those guys are to us like family because they brought us in, gave us a tour, and then initially we asked them like, hey, maybe you can make some cider for us. And they were totally willing and totally got us started. And Andrew is one of the best, man. We love Andrew.
So the black note is what we have in the, whoops, sorry, I know it's backwards. It's what's in the box for the Washington Cider Week. Since Kim is on, Kim, do you want to do a little description of the black note?
Sure. So I am the regional sales manager for Herb's, if you are not aware of who I am. And the black note is a blend of culinary apples co-fermented with blackberries. So you get a very apple-forward cider still, but great tartness from the blackberries themselves.
Fantastic. People did ask earlier what the inspiration was. Do any of you, for this cider, does anybody want to tackle that?
Well, it was our first venture into fruit. Before that, we weren't really doing anything, and so we wanted to be really careful about what we put out. Chris is very specific about the type of cider that he makes, and so we thought that the blackberry would be a fun one to kind of start with, and because we were able to source the blackberries they're from Northern Oregon. Most everything we get is in Washington, but we were able to consistently source that fruit. So, you know, blackberries are one, stone fruit is another that we're able to consistently source. So that was sort of the first reason, was that the blackberries were available year round for us to get the juice. So, yeah.
That's great. So good. And you guys have talent, like way too much talent for us. Like, not way too much, but
let me show you a picture of our facility really quick, just so everybody gets a little insight.
Yeah, we're gonna do a little screen share with you. Is that okay, right. Emily?
Yeah.
Running that?
That's
okay. I think Emily's running it.
Oh, she's running it.
Wait a minute. Host disabled attendee screen sharing. All right, let's try it again. Let me know. It says it's disabled by the attendee.
Okay, well, while he's trying to maybe do that, what we thought might be fun for our 5-minute sesh was to talk a little bit, you know, for those of you who know our branding, you might know that Tim is a musician. He's been a musician for I don't know, 40 years. My entire
life, yeah.
So he's predominantly a drummer, and so all of our foundation ciders were named after drum rudiments. So it's a little tongue-in-cheek, but single stroke, double stroke, triplet, paradiddle. Those are the main ones. And so we thought it would be fun for Tim to show you what those actual drum rudiments are, and then to do a little, bring it all together into an actual song.
Wow.
That's amazing.
I don't know. Song.
Do you guys want to hear Jerry was a race car driver?
Quiet. They don't know that stuff. All right. So yeah. So being a drummer, we thought that would be a, you know, theme for our. Is everything okay, Emily? I see you. Are you telling us to get the heck out of here?
No, I'm trying to tell Andrew that he's the host and I need that back, please.
Oh.
All right.
You guys should all be in person at Real Cider, like post parties. It's good. It's good like this. You can tell. I'm just letting folks know.
Oh yeah, no worries. So we're just, you know, our first, one of our main cider, which we did with Andrew in the beginning, was called a single stroke. And then in music, that's basically for drumming. That's like one of the foundation things. It's really, every drummer does it. And it's basically probably you do it at home when you're playing or you pound on a table. It literally means one stroke per hand. So it's just, can you hear this?
Yes, absolutely.
It's not blowing out or anything? Okay. So yeah, a single stroke just means basically right, left, right, left. She's got her headphones on so it doesn't blow her ears out.
Hey, Herb, before you start this, can I say, can I ask one question for you as a drummer to a drummer?
Oh, wow. Scott's here too.
Scott is here.
You guys know, I found out yesterday, I do an Instagram live show. I had Scott on yesterday. Every Friday we do an Instagram, and he turns out he's a drummer too. So I had no idea there's so many musicians in the cider world. That's really awesome.
Okay, I want to ask one question. Okay, I've been a drummer for 15 years, probably more than that, I don't know. But are you a Zildjian artist? Do they just sell those big-ass gongs to everybody?
I think you can, I don't know. I believe so. I actually, the big gong in the back here, I was at Zildjian. It was sitting on the ground because no one uses them really. And I just say, hey, can I have that?
Dude, that's very impressive. So I won't take
Same
too much
here.
more of your time, but that was a question I really wanted to ask. You have a
Yes,
phenomenal setup. So
Thank you. I am a Zildjian artist. I have been since our, early 1990, 1990, probably 91.
are you a Vic Firth artist too?
I was for years, and now I've been a Vader drumsticks for the last probably 8, 9, or I don't know, 6, 7 years now.
Nice. Those look like 5Bs or like As or something like that.
They're actually kind of like they have a small tip and a little thick, and they're made of maple, so they're lighter. I don't like them too heavy. So
Yeah. Okay.
But
I won't take any more of your time, man. I just wanted to ask those questions. So.
no worries. So our first cider was called the single stroke, and I want to show you guys what that actually means in music terms. Single stroke is a right, left, right, left. So basically, anything you do can sound like this. So you can get creative with it. So you can do stuff like that where it's all still right, left, but you're changing the dynamics. You can, meaning you can stay quiet. Or loud. And you start adding the feed in too. Single strokes. That's the foot. I don't know if you can see it. Then you can do stuff like this. Very famous drummer John Bonham. That's Chatter Creek. Hey, Gordy. Hey, you have your microphone on. We can hear everything.
Well,
that's all right. I was just letting you know.
At least I wasn't saying anything.
All right.
No problem.
Do you want to do double stroke?
So then the next cider we have double stroke, meaning 2 notes per hand. So that sounds like this. That's a very basic way to do a double stroke. You can put that and go faster, and it sounds like this. So when you might hear those kind of rolls, when they're like, hey, what's the best cider? Anyways, double strokes, that's what one of our dry cider, it's called the double stroke. And we, that's basically how you can use double strokes. You can play a beat and do a double strokes. Pretty basic, just double strokes.
Probably just the pair.
I want to kind of like give you a heads up that when you play, because Zoom is so smart, we can't like hear it, like sound blocks the audio. So we're seeing your amazing fast movements. We can hear you talking, but it just kind of blocks you out, which is super sad because we know how talented you are. I actually think we're going to need a separate video just to deal with like musicians and cider, because who knew?
No, I had it set up. I'm in my actual studio where I work on music.
Cool.
And I have it set up where the sound should be coming through this microphone. But anyway, anyways, maybe it's not working. Sorry.
You're amazing. We absolutely so appreciate you being here. And I'm mindful because my job is to keep time, but I got distracted in how to get a cider, and I have to keep us moving along. So
oh yeah, no worries.
I think you're amazing.
I lost your
I've loved
window.
your
Yeah,
music
thank
since
you.
I was a kid. Thank you for being part of our cider world. Cheers to that. You know, what's up? Yes, it's been such a great journey. We are just moving right along. Please pop in your website so people can tune in. Yeah, if you have any video later, yeah, post it in. Somebody's asking what Primus is. Okay, anyway, I'm just gonna keep going on. Okay, so here we are. We're gonna circle back to Emily. Are you, yep, there you are, honey. Okay. Okay. Andrew's just going to share some words with us because he's super articulate and wonderful, and we're going to do that. And then we're going to hear from Chowder Creek, and then we're going to have one more song. We got a couple more cideries. Let's do this magic. You guys are awesome. It's Andrew, Finnriver. You're on, buddy.
Can I get a thumbs up for audio via the hotspot on my telephone real quick? We're doing okay?
Should be right there.
Rural Olympic Peninsula. We're working on satellite internet and a data limit that is not going to allow me to share a video. That I wanted to talk about sourcing because I feel like what goes into cider is so important as far as what goes into your body and that intimate relationship that we have as cider makers and producers of all sorts, and these people who trust us. You trust us to put amazing, beautiful, healthful things inside of your body. And that is intimate. No matter how you want to shape that framework, I am making something. I am touching something. In fact, fundamentally, I bet I'm being told not to make a Gattaca comment, but if you've ever seen Gattaca, I bet my skin cells are somewhere in all of these bits of cider. And that connection is what I feel as a maker for those of you out in the world who are consuming Finnriver cider. It is a participatory act for you to consume, for me to make. And that idea of a maker leads me to a conversation about sourcing. What I wanted to talk about was where my apples come from, where my hops come from, where the herbs for the Friends of the Garden, which is the cider that I think we passed out into the cider box. Forgive me, I know it went to Cider Summit, but I'm not quite sure how it was distributed to those of you out in the world. That Friends of the Garden has kind of an amazing blend of herbs from some folks who share land with us here in Jimicum, Washington. All of these things come together to create this intimacy of maker and consumer. And I think that during this particular era of our existence, the relationship between maker and consumer becomes more and more paramount. If you don't know the people who are doing the making, then you are yet again removed from the process, the step, and the people who are doing the growing. And so we are trying to figure out how we can reach back from consumer to producer to grower to laborer, and bring all of those things together in a single bottle that you can hold up and be proud of. And you can say, I am drinking this, and I understand, and I know, and I am connected. And that is what I was trying to share via video. And instead, I'm having to esoterically communicate via voice. And so with all of those things combined, I just want to say that was a picture that just fell off the wall randomly. That this has been epic. And just to be here tonight is an honor, and I want to acknowledge the struggles that are occurring not only in this particular community at 71 Llama Lane in Port Townsend, Washington, but also the struggles that are continuing across the globe as Black and brown people are challenging the system, social justice questions. And we are here to speak about sourcing, to speak about ideas, and to speak about justice and peace and love and the way that we can connect as a human community between neighbors. And that is the primary point of talking about sourcing. What's in your bottle, what's in your body, and what's in your heart. Much love.
Love it. You're so great. Thank you. I don't know if you guys have been watching any like TV now during this time. I felt like sometimes I watch things and like no one's wearing a mask and everyone's like close together and it's really polished. And that's not the world we're living in right now. We're living in this like really like, you know, tumultuous, like hang by your fingernails, like kind of experience where everything is really real. And I just want to say that that's the kind of festival we're delivering to you, something that is authentic and that is real. So I hope that you're getting that. I hope it's coming through. I appreciate so much all of these cider makers and folks just tuning in, taking time out and caring and being so passionate. And so appreciate every single one of you tuning in. We know you have lots of things to do. So I'm just going to say that, you know, this is about being real and authentic and in the moment, right? We didn't promise you a shiny, perfect performance. We promised you something fun and real. The after party. You've been to an after party, right? You're cider drinkers? Yeah, after party. All right, this after party is not going to stop yet because next up, we are going to go into the garage with Gordy. We got Shatter Creek Winery, Cidery, Prosecco. Gordy, how's it going?
Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where am I at?
I see you.
I can't see what I'm doing. Oh, there we are.
I can see you.
This is what I do.
us?
I'm a gearhead.
He's
Been
a
a
gearhead.
gearhead for all my life. My favorite place to be is really in a garage. Whether it's a winery, whether it's woodworking, I love a small garage, and this is where my winery is now. Earlier this year, I moved out of my Woodinville location, moved the winery to the secret location, which is really in my house. So if you know me, you know where it is. And when I'm not making cider, I have an old British sports car that keeps me entertained. And maybe as a lot of the rest of you get older, you know, cars and weird things that leak oil will just sort of appeal to you. I'm going to keep it quick because I'm trying to get us back on track. I made Prosecco. It's fun. The idea behind it was we were playing one day and said, gosh, you know, I've never seen a rosé Prosecco. Let's just make a cider that tastes like Prosecco, but it's a rosé. This is made from a modern cider. This is made from dessert apples. Actually, this has a little bit of Dabinet in it. I don't know. Some berry juices is fun. I hope you're all enjoying it. And I'm going to sign off right now. Try and get us back on track. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you for being there. People are appreciating your space and your passion. They're clear that you have some really amazing passion for fermenting as well as for those cars. So thank you so much. Appreciate it, Gordy. And I'm gonna turn it back over to our friend Norman for a little quick musical interlude. Keep dropping those links into the chat for any of your cideries so that we can make sure that we're staying tuned to those. If you've got details that we can track, we're gonna put them there. We're gonna listen to Don't Worry About a Thing. That seems like a message we all need. Fire when ready.
Don't worry about a thing. Every little thing's gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing. Every little thing's gonna be alright. Right this morning, facing the rising sun, 3 little birds said by my doorstep, sing sweet melodies, song so pure and true, singing, this is a message for you. Y'all say it with us. Don't worry about a thing. Every little thing gonna be alright. Don't worry about a thing. Every little thing
stream for me is
All right, thank you. We did need that message, right? Don't worry about a thing. We got this. We're drinking cider. It's a tricky time, but we're here together. I'll be self-disclosure and say I was like, how can I switch gears from the crisis that's been going on in my life to like be here and be present? And I have to say it's really lightening my mood. I feel really grateful. I love our community, and it's so great to be with all of you. It's really true that people, right? That's really at the heart of things, and good intentions and keeping things positive. So let's keep that train rolling with that good energy. We've got Schilling cider up. Let's see, we got Brad here. We got Colin here. You guys, I can't spotlight both of you. We're gonna throw on your video when you're ready, but first I'm gonna let's unmute you, and you guys can like just do a little banter, and we'll follow both of you along so you can introduce yourselves and say hi.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, cool.
What's up, Cider Summit folks? Hey, we'll keep it super quick and get into the video because I am conscious of your all's time. But I do want to say I'm super stoked, one, that this is happening this year. Thank you so much to everybody who's put this on. And two, this is the first time we've ever shown anyone in the public our brand new canning line. We've been working on this for over 2 years, and we've been super secretive about it. And now it works, so now you guys get to see it. So obviously you can buy our product in a lot of stores, kind of all over the place, and obviously it takes a lot to be able to do that. And so we're finally ready to show everybody how we actually do that. So let's roll the clip. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Colin. Thanks, Brad. Thanks for being here, guys.
Absolutely.
Goal was 2 things. Bring the best quality spices he could get his hands onto the market.
There we go. That looks good.
So one of the cool facts about Schilling cider is actually where we get our name from. So my great-great-grandfather, August Schilling, started the Schilling Spice Company in 1881, and his goal was 2 things. Bring the best quality spices he could get his hands onto the market, and do it at a reasonable price. And so when we started the Schilling Cider Company, we had the same ethos and the same values. We wanted to use local, fresh-pressed, high-quality ingredients, but we didn't want to charge an arm and a leg for it. And so that's what we've done to this day and continue to do. And cider is a really cool example of how we've done that. So we've taken literally the best ingredients possible, handmade, locally sourced chai from the very best organic herbs and spices, and combine that with an awesome cider to create something really unique, really awesome, but you can pick it up on a 6-pack. So cheers to that. Thanks. What's up, Cider Summit folks? This is Colin Schilling down here at the Schilling Cider House. I've got Kate, our head of quality, and Brad, our head cider maker. And today we're going to talk about cider. So we've got our brand new 2020 cider in cans that we just released. And then we're also going to taste a little bit of classic cellar cider to talk about kind of the differences over the years. So, all right, so let's dig into these ciders. So one of the really fun things about Schilling Chai is it's a collaboration with an awesome Portland company we've been friends with for years, Kinglet Teas. So David down there, super awesome guy, and he makes this custom chai blend for us, and that's how we make the chai. So it gives us this beautiful color, aroma, tons and tons of subtle notes, and some over-the-top notes too, and we love it. Cheers. So Brad, what do you taste on this one? What are some things that stand out for you?
So the big thing about spice ciders for me is that some people use too much and it becomes overwhelming. Some things taste soapy, and I think the cider that we use, the chai tea, it's phenomenal. It's nice and spicy. It's what you would expect from a spice cider. It's not too sweet and it's not too dry. They complement each other very well. So it's just.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the blend of spices that are particularly used in this too. And I know there's actually some proprietary spices that I'm not even allowed to say on camera. So it is really cool how custom this is.
Hi there, I'm David Fisher, founder at Kinglet Tea in Portland, Oregon. It's that time of year again, and we're getting very excited to be brewing up a special batch of chai concentrate for Schilling Cider's seasonal cider. Say that 10 times fast.
Oh my gosh, that slow-mo. That's beautiful.
Hola, hola. Julia from Schilling Cider here. I'm the head of marketing, and I am showing you guys how to hula hoop dance. And I'm a pro multitasker, so I thought, why not do it on rollerblades? Found it in my mom's garage. Can I have a cider? Toss this guy.
Oh my gosh.
London Dry, my favorite. A little bit foamy.
Love it. That was beautiful.
Right on. Well, thanks everybody. Appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.
Unmute. Okay, thanks you guys. That was so awesome and fun. I want to go try my hula hooping skills while drinking cider. I'll do that next. I won't record it. You guys are amazing. That was super fun. I love chai. I love cider. Can't go wrong. Next up, last but not least, is Seattle Cider. I see Mara. What's up? I know we had Scott. I don't know if Scott's still here. Okay. Yes. Here you guys are. So let's unmute you both and you guys can banter. We're so happy you guys are here. You're in Seattle. You are Seattle. It's Seattle Cider Summit. What's up? So glad to see you guys. Thank you for being here. Can you unmute yourselves or do I need to unmute you?
Okay, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay, so this is
Kitties.
really, first of all, thanks for having us. I'm Mara. I'm the marketing manager for Seattle Cider, and I'm joined here with Ian Joyce. He's our tasting room manager. If you've been in, you've probably seen him. He's always here. We're in the Can Fort. This is
you are.
feet outside of my office in our production facility. And it made a nice backdrop because you guys are all drinking Spice Peach. Scott's joining us from home. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
In case you've been wondering what Ian and I have been drinking this evening, we decided to take our Spiced Peach and turn it into a really super simple peach Bellini. And so you're gonna have to tune in at another time, like on our Instagram or something, because Ian was like, I'm gonna saber it, it's gonna be great, but we're running short on time. So, shout out to the Instagram, follow us at Seattle Cider Co. And we'll do some sabering and make the peach Bellini. But as you're drinking your spiced peach, which is the spice in that is cardamom, the inspiration from this actually came from a recent camping trip where we were having morning mimosas. And if you are like me and my girlfriends, we only just add like a splash of juice for color.
Oh yeah, I mean.
And so in this case, we decided we're gonna put some, it's stone fruit season. We cut up some peaches and we do about a 50-50 ratio of a nice dry fruit champagne and then the spiced peach cider. And it's
perfect.
And honestly, whatever ratio you like, but the 50-50 is nice. And then, you're not diluting your champagne. You still get the nice color and you get that really lovely peach Bellini situation. So that's what we're sipping on over here.
In the Can Fort.
Yeah.
In the Can Fort.
With Mara's unstoppable glasses. I'm just going to call it out. She's so cute. I just love those so much.
I like a good statement piece. I wear mostly black and then I wear the most, if I could find bigger glasses than this and not look like Harry Carey, so.
You're crushing it.
Shout out to the big glasses. I love it.
All the blue glasses. I have these glasses in 3 other colors too. So
why wouldn't you? I mean, really, that's the question. Can we say hi to Scott? Hi, Scott.
So Scott, really quick, Scott is drinking something a little bit different, and this is a bit of a teaser for some fun stuff that we have available. And there we go. Okay, we're gonna throw it to Scott. You focus on him for a minute because he makes it, and it's just really, Ian, I
Yeah.
just come here to talk about cider. So Scott's going to tell you more about the like in-depth stuff.
What's up, everyone? Good to see you. So good to see all of your guys' faces. I'm actually at home drinking a single varietal wine sap. I don't know if you can see it there, but Mara has it as well. This year, we put all of our single varietals in 12-ounce slim cans for even more easy drinking, take it on the go, which is a pretty crazy format for us to put single varietals in. But we're releasing them once a week, leading up to our 7th anniversary party, which is next Saturday. So perfect timing for Washington Cider Week. This past week was Jonathan. I think it's the one, Mara has it there on the end, the orange one. And then next week is our 4th and final installment in that series, which is a single varietal Ashmead's Kernel. It's kind of the home run of the 4, in my opinion. So we're ending on that one. And we have a whole lineup of stuff that we're doing next week for our anniversary party. Instead of encouraging people to come to our tasting room, we have like 7 days of different ways to engage. And Mark can talk about that. But yeah, good to see all your guys' faces. Love hanging out. Go Washington Cider. Love it.
Hey, Washington Cider.
Are those cans available outside of Seattle?
Yeah, they're on our store. So you can actually get them delivered to you if you live in Seattle or Tacoma. But then we're also shipping them on Vino Shipper. I don't know if they're currently live or if we've been doing them one by one, but Mark can talk about that.
And someone asked also, is Seattle Cider still delivering? It sounds like yes.
Yes.
Yep,
still delivering. Yeah.
We do free delivery on Thursdays. Right now, it's a little bit funky for a lot of folks who don't know. We actually have a sibling company called Two Beers Brewing. And so for all of our in-state, like pre-order for pickup, delivery to Seattle, which we do free delivery in the Seattle area, like just Seattle proper, every Thursday. And we ship within Washington State from our e-store that's actually on the Two Beers Brewing website. And then we also ship to 38 states with Vino Shipper. And so that is going to be either, you can find that on our Facebook page or you can find that on the Seattle Cider Company page. So it's a little confusing, but we're trying to work the best we can with the rules and regulations. Right now, like Scott said, we're releasing the single varietals like week by week. And then eventually we're going to be releasing those as a full tasting kit. We decided to, give a little special love for like our Washington folks first. And so right now they're only available on our e-store for Washington only, which is on the Two Beers site. But we will release the tasting kit on Vino Shipper in time for our anniversary party. And so folks can have that shipped to 38 states.
It's amazing. Just drop some links in there, Mara. You're keeping track. We're all just, tracking. So I just want to acknowledge that we ran over our time because that's what good parties do. We're going to sign out, but before we do, we actually have a sneak peek of something coming up. Kim, you're unmuting yourself. I'm going to light up your video. What do you got going on, girl?
Well, we have one of our first collabs in the Pacific Northwest.
OMG.
So what it's going to be is I gave a holler out to Seth at Archibald James and Tim Larson at Snowdrift, and I asked them, hey, do you want to do a collab? And so we named it the Better Together blend, because just with the way the world's going right now, as the cider community, we are better together. And we are just excited about getting this out. It will be ready and released probably in October. It's doing its little magic right now. And we're just really looking forward to getting it out there to all of you. And just remembering that we are, as a cider community, better together. And we can just reach so many people through our ciders and just through the people that we are. We're all amazing people. So.
Word. Thank you. I love that. We love the collab. It's so good. This is such a big part of our community. Okay, a couple things I want to clean us up here. We've got, if you've got a video, we want to see your video. If you've got anything that you guys haven't dropped into the chat, go ahead and drop it in. A website, a link, a place for people to follow you. Anything that you can pop in there. We do have a few folks who didn't show up on, who are in the boxed kits, either the Modern Cider kit or the Bottled Classic, who weren't able to join us, unfortunately. So yeah, Snowdrift and Tieton and Virtue weren't here in person. Life is happening, but we love them and we're grateful that they're part of our community. So for sure, thanks for acknowledging them. If if there's something that you didn't get answered, you should have my email, jannad@nwcider.com. You can send it to me and we will post this. We've been recording all of this action. We're going to put it up on our YouTube channel, which we now have because it's COVID, and why wouldn't we? So hit me up. People have been asking me all day if we're going to post this, so apparently they want to tune in and have some fun with us because we're a really fun community. Just as kind of like final housekeeping pieces, I am just gonna shout out tons of thank yous. I didn't get to the Bad Granny answers for sure. I didn't get a real like response back, but they just, I think, wanted to have fun with the name. Like Granny's there and there's apples, and they were like, she's drinking cider. But if there's something better on that, we can let you know for sure. You guys are amazing. Every single one of you who tuned in, you're amazing. Thank you so much to all of the Washington cider makers. Alan, we wouldn't be doing this if you didn't host cider summits. I love working them in person. I'm glad we get to do it here in this weird Zoom world. Emily, for tirelessly working behind the scenes. This has been great. Every cider maker, every cider drinker, every response that I've sent to anybody today, the first thing I've said is thank you for supporting Northwest Cider. Northwest Cider is based on farmers and people who are trying to work this land and make a living doing that work. It's small family farms, it's larger farms, it's people who are innovative and creative and brave, and it's a really challenging time to be in this sphere. As we all know, we're all kind of dealing with this work. So, pledge to drink what you can, put your money where it counts, and support these makers. Please stay tuned in. We're your community and we love you. Be safe. Happy Cider Summit.
Hey, Jan, I'm going to jump in just for a second with news to add my thanks. When we started in 2010, we had no idea what we were getting into. And we're just really lucky that, our mission was to build awareness for better cider, for regional cider. And, the big bonus of that was a community that really kind of came with it and keeps growing and developing. And so for those of you that tune in tonight, you've seen this great and fun community of cider makers, and we enjoy being together. And I'll count myself in the community, even though I'm not a cider maker. And those, and those of you that were with us online tonight are representative of how lucky we've been to have a great audience of people that attend our festivals, some 12,000 plus each year. So that probably adds up to somewhere in the neighborhood of 100,000 people that have attended the festivals since we started. And, and they're people that are fun, that have a good time at our festivals. They behave, they're interested. It really makes our life much easier. And also the opportunity to meet and have at our festivals a lot of great musicians here in the Northwest, like my friend Norman. And so a little bit of news before we sign off. Next week, we will be announcing our next cider kit, or kits, I should say. That will be a Portland-based event. We will be live probably Monday or Tuesday with all of that info. It's going to be formatted similar to this, with a modern cider kit, bottled classics. And we're doing a import kit for the first time. And we're going to be able to include our friends at Cider from BC in that. along with some French cider and some English cider and Spanish cider. So we've always been regionally focused, but we like to give people the opportunity to sample the world of cider. And a lot of those products inspired a lot of the cider makers you saw tonight. So that will go on sale next week. You're going to need to order by October 4th. We will make it available again to 48 states plus the home state of Oregon for that one. It will be available, delivery will be available statewide in Oregon, shipping to the other 48. And we're just, you know, in this period, we're just kind of trying to figure it out as we go, and hopefully make more cider available to more people, and kind of, you know, stick with the mission of building the cider community all while we're at it. So again, special thanks to all the cider makers and all of you for joining us. It's been a great, if nothing else, a great distraction tonight to spend a couple hours this way. Thanks, everyone.
Well said.
Thanks, Alan.
Thanks,
And I
Alan.
want to say, for folks looking for more distractions this week, WashingtonCiderWeek.org, there's a ton of virtual events, including cheese and cider tasting, and a ton. So go check out WashingtonCiderWeek.org, and I'll let Norman play us out.
Look for the video. This will be on our Northwest Cider YouTube channel. Share it with a friend if they want to get in on the party and didn't. Thanks, you guys.
One of the best original blues things out, hip hop. This is kind of like when you fall down and you get your chocolate mixed up with your peanut butter and you make this really good sound. On this song, I fell down and I got my blues mixed up with a little hip hop. So yesterday, send out to all the dancers in the house.
Sad story.
Let's do it.
Tell me, Boogie Cat, do you think